The EU Commission has updated a guidance on how member states can pay for Russian gas as the bloc pushes forward with its economic blockade against Moscow, warning that opening ruble accounts could violate sanctions. It suggests making the payments in hard currency and letting Russian entities convert them to rubles. EU members Bulgaria and Poland were earlier cut off from Russian gas supplies because they refused to pay in rubles, thus violating a demand by Moscow. France, Germany, and Slovakia have reportedly agreed to pay in euros with subsequent conversion to rubles. Meanwhile, Italian energy company Eni has said it's opening accounts with Russia's Gazprom bank to keep the supplies flowing.
As deadlines for the payment of gas supplies are scheduled for the next few days, Eni has begun the process of opening 2 current accounts at Gazprom Bank. The decision has been shared with the Italian institutions. It was taken in compliance with the current international sanctions framework.
That's as Italy's prime minister has emphasized that the country's trade with Russia remains in a gray area and is not currently violating the sanctions. While EU leaders debate about complying with Russia's terms for gas payments in rubles, prices have surged, and it has hit regular Europeans in their pockets. It's left some Italians questioning the decision-making by both Brussels and Rome.
I am not a politician, I am an entrepreneur, but in my opinion, a different solution could have been found. We could have talked before and not sanction. It is now a disaster. We take gas and oil from Russia to make glass, and obviously after all that is happening the price has definitely increased, causing us great problems. Europe is doing nothing to control prices, which have risen significantly. The governments have done nothing to keep the prices of raw materials from rising. There is a great deal of speculation on these prices. They do what they want, and we entrepreneurs, on the other hand, are full of debt because we no longer know how to pay our workers.
The Italian government had to do more. The prices of gas and electricity are rising, causing severe economic damage to all factories. It is a very complicated and difficult situation. I do not really know how to resolve this dramatic story. Construction in Italy, the engine of the economy, is coming to a halt. Many companies have debts. Even as an entrepreneur and distributor, I have many debts and I do not know what to do. The chain is freezing. It's not a good situation, and I see an even darker future for all of us.
While the EU struggles with apparent gas shortages as it tries to cut its energy dependence on Moscow, Moscow's President Vladimir Putin has warned that if the EU completely ends its Russian fuel imports, the bloc's economy could crash.
The rejection of Russian energy resources by Europe means in the long term that the region will have the highest cost of energy in the world. It's apparent that as Russian energy resources become destined for other areas, increasing economic activity will also move from Europe to other regions. This choice of economic suicide, of course, is an internal matter for European countries. We must act pragmatically and proceed with our own economic interests first.
It's an apparent paradox, but the situation for Europe is that it is heavily dependent on its supply of gas. And the gas is like the blood, flowing in the blood vessels. It is vital. Therefore, there is not really any choice than to accept the conditions that are posed by Russia, even if publicly they continue to condemn. Many countries like France have no coal, no gas, or no oil. Europe has little energy resources. 40% of the gas imports in Europe is coming from Russia, so you cannot just strike that away. The EU needs to continue to purchase Russian gas, whatever is the means used to do it. It is needed. If it's not done, then it means energy will be lacking, missing, and Europe goes into a deep economic recession.